change me and be so wonderful. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with the last seat, number 30, with my co-host, all dolled up from Sharby, and we are going to be interviewing Gintoken on Dawgs, Income Island, NFTs, crypto, Darcy, Donavan. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. And my man, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
We have a little bit of breaking news. There's a major widespread server outage affecting many online services today due to a problem with Amazon Web Services, impacting a wide range of sites and apps, including Snapchat, Roblox, Fortnite, and many others, because so many companies rely on AWS for their web infrastructure. So y'all just might see some hiccups. And
okay, this is great because I just went on Amazon to get something and I thought it was user error because it kept like timing out with the dog. Like, oops, something went wrong. And I was like, oh, what's wrong with Amazon? But okay, that makes sense.
Speaking of user error, I don't know if you guys have like the base. I'm sure you do. Like you guys have like the base wallet. Like it's like Coinbase is like kind of their just own wallet.
I don't use it, but I'm familiar with it.
So there's like an upgrade that you can do, and the upgrade was pretty cool. It's like, oh, hey, there's people like posting on the feed, and there's mini games, and it looked kind of fun. The only thing that was messed up with it is that it would not let me send or buy or trade or swap crypto anywhere, and it would let me receive crypto, but I wouldn't let me send it or trade it. And I was like, what is this mess? So I wound up eventually uninstalling and reinstalling, and then I had to get my seed phrase, like, because that's a pain. And now it's fine. But if it asked you to upgrade, I would not, because I was straight up not having a good time with that. So if y'all use it. Thankfully I don't have a ton of crypto on there, but just
was it just like a glitch in the update, and so that there'll probably be another update, or
it might have been.
Okay.
I don't know though. I just the uninstall and reinstall got rid of the update. Like I wasn't upgraded now to the new base app. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll take the old one. That's fine. I don't need to see what people are posting and all that jazz. But yeah, that's fine. Anyway, it's been a while since we had Jin on. Jin, it's what were you on? Number 4, number 5?
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
It's been all right. So in the last half a year, well, the Tower 4 kind of hecked us, but then we reached all-time highs, and then and then we had these wild flash crashes. Can you tell us how you in general are perceiving these wild swings, and how it might affect either you or the company or companies that you work for?
Well, I mean, personally, nobody likes to see their wallet do deep dives, right? And it's it's funny. I mean, I think there's a lot of just sort of teachable moments for people who are new in crypto, or for people that have just sort of been hanging on, with their fingertips. I got the expected call from my son yesterday, right, saying, you know what, that's it. Cash me out. It's been so long. I've been waiting forever, right? And so just sort of having that conversation again about, you haven't really lost until you sell. If you sell now, right, then you get this amount of money. When you put this amount in, right, you're going to get back up to what you put in, and you're still going to get, the gains, right? Just imagine if we just, if your portfolio just gets to the all-time high again, right? How much money will you make? Right, in doing those math lessons, right? And I think, for so many people, I mean, people are just feeling, exhausted. And I've seen a change just in the past, 3 months even, as to people's participation in their communities, those kind of things, right? And so I think a lot of people there, have sort of felt it and even exited. So, I mean, I think it's sad, as far as people who have, that even don't understand that our cycle has changed. This is not the typical cycle, right? And haven't done the deep dive in their learning, haven't continued that process. So yeah, I think it's hard because a lot of people have put in more than they can really afford, to invest, with their initial understanding of the cycle, or having no understanding. So from that point, I think it is sad. However, Personally, I don't have expectations at this point, except that we're on a roller coaster, you know, and that in the end, right, we will cycle upwards, and it will be, it will be momentous, when things do cycle, So, personally, that's where I'm at. I'm ride or die with DeFi, with crypto. The future is here and we're in it, So, it's just another day. I am paying less attention, honestly, because I know what I hold and what my investments are, and I'm strong in my positions. For the companies, as far as Star Dogs, Income Island, and our parent company, Real Vision, it makes no difference. We build every day, regardless of what anybody or any market, is doing now or is going to do. We have a long-term vision as far as Star Dogs. We're going to mint regardless. We've been waiting to mint when our product is ready. We've been building it for almost, 5 years now. And our plan was to mint it once these NFTs are ready. And some of our NFTs take 4 to 8 minutes each, 2 minutes. And so this is a process and the detail expected, so we're going to go when we're ready, and we're not waiting on the market. We're not waiting for the NFT run. So it makes no difference. Every day in Income Island, we are building and we're bringing new builds into it. So yeah, it doesn't affect us in that way.
So there's I feel like there's a skit from Mad TV like 20 plus years ago. Show my age here with that. And it was like the beginning of a soap opera, and it was called Lowered Expectations, and it was the greatest thing. And I wrote it down, like I was like, yeah, lowered expectations. You'll never be disappointed if your expectations are lowered, but if it hits, you'll be pleasantly surprised. I'm like, this is great. And I feel like I've lived my life that way. I know it was supposed to be taken as a joke, but it worked. So, however, that being said, in that same breath, I'll say we all kind of have this expectation of the bull run happening. Like, and granted, it's happening with Bitcoin and ETH and Solana and BNB, but that alt season, which we've been waiting for, that meme season, NFT season, that hasn't happened. It has been a long 4 years. It has not happened yet. 3.5 years. We do expect that to happen. We expect an alt season. We expect all of those narratives to hit. And not that we expect it to hit sometime in the next 5 years. We probably expect it to hit within the next year, probably the next like 6 to 9 months, maybe sooner. It's possible it starts to happen, this month or next month. But and you don't have to go into 100% like detail with this, or as much or as little as you want. How long can Star Dogs, Real Vision Entertainment, and Income Island, how long can they last before they have to be like, oh, we might have to raise money to continue to pay our people, or we might have to, or do they, or will they never have to? Is Darcy Donovan's kind of pockets go so deep, or it's like it could happen in 3 months, or it could happen in 8 years from now? We'll be ready.
Well, I think it's important to recognize that Real Vision Entertainment, which is our parent company, has been around for 20 years, right? It's an incredibly well-established organization, right? I mean, the company is very well grounded, and we're not waiting for the money from our NFTs to produce our next movie. We're already on the go, and that is happening. So we're not putting out these NFTs to fund our products. And so I mean, I think that's valuable information. So we're not looking at this as far as what is this bull run going to do? When is it going to take off so that we can fund our films? We're about business regardless of what the bull run's going to do. We're not dependent on this. Yeah.
So for Income Island, the costs are for any metaverse. They're a thing. They don't, depending on what you get with it, it doesn't have to be a crazy cost, but there are costs for it. I don't want to ask like how many users you need like to break even versus how many subscriptions you get, but there's what World of Warcraft now has, they're going to give everyone houses now, and they've had a metaverse essentially for like 15 years, but nobody really called it a metaverse. It was just an MMO RPG. But they make like 100 million a month just from subscriptions. So they're like cash cow, and that's not including any of the new skins and scrolls and other things that people get. For Income Island, is there going to be a difference between like, hey, here's the free version that everyone can play versus like, here's the, if you want to pay $4 a month or $8 a month, you can get this and you get upgraded versions, and what would that entail?
I haven't actually focused very much on, Income Island kind of thing, and there are sort of some non-disclosure, agreements in place as far as details that I can, sort of put out. So, do have to be careful there. But right now, while I am sort of working within Income Island as well, my focus right now, because we are so close to the mint, I've been focusing more on Real Vision and on Dawgs. So, those are, this is what we're doing. I know that, our builds, there are more people coming in all the time. We're in conversations with, all sorts of people about what's happening. So, but I'm not going to get into the specifics about, money or about what we're going to do in those
sure.
details.
When that does release, we'll have you on again. We'll have a launch party. Speaking of being close to the mint here, tell us about this. Tell us about the cost per mint, where we can get them, and when they launch, and how many y'all have.
Sure. Well, there's going to be 10,277 Dawgs that will mint, and we announced on Saturday we have a regular Dawgs Saturday space from our official channel, and we had Darcy there. It was exciting. We had a couple of new announcements, and the first one being that we are going to launch sometime in November. It's going to be probably close to the end of, or sorry, not December, November. It's going to be probably close to the end of November. Our NFTs are, however, available right now in a private sale, and there are some extra perks there. They are 0.5 ETH, and they will be that at the mint as well. You can get them by going to stardogs.com on the website, and they're going to be the same price when we mint. So, but there are some perks. So if you buy in the private sale, and within the first 24 hours of mint, you actually get your name in the credits of our next movie. So that's an extra perk that was just announced on Saturday. So, that's something that, might be a fantastic, engagement present, a little bit better than a flash mob, I think. Might be a good Christmas present, birthday present, Hanukkah presents. There's lots of good people that are going to be looking for, that perfect gift, or that gift for somebody who has everything. So, that's a new utility that we just announced on Saturday. If you buy in the private sale, there's two ways that you can do that. The first one is if you buy 5 NFTs, that puts you in the traditional private sale. And that gives you 2 VIP lifetime access passes to all of our red carpet and gala events. Now, if you can think about what that's going to do as far as networking opportunities, right? Because, we're going to have these events for every movie that we put out, right? Because there's always some sort of a premiere or an event that goes when a movie is put out. So you'll have access to those. And there is no distinction between how people socialize on the red carpet, right? You'll have an opportunity to, have pictures with Darcy Donavan on the red carpet when you come in. When you get inside, you'll be socializing with everybody from every A-lister that is in the party. And it's important to know that you can't buy a pass to get onto the red carpet. So, if you have these passes yourself, you could, sell it. Everybody does have to KYC for these events. Anybody that actually buys a Dawgs will have to KYC, and I'll go into that a little bit more. It's not just about getting onto the red carpet, but it's about getting onto a movie set as well. So, so with our private sale, you get that opportunity to have lifetime access and networking, which is pretty spectacular. You can also buy 1 NFT, and that gets you 1 access pass to a gala party as well. So not everybody is going to want to buy 5 NFTs. You can also level up. So let's say you buy one NFT now, and then you can afford same thing as sort of dollar cost averaging with, like we do with crypto, which is the same kind of thing. And you eventually reach, 5 NFTs before the mint happens. You can also then still qualify for the VIP lifetime access passes.
So there's I guess a bunch of questions I have. I'll start with, if let's say somebody really just wanted to support the project and they happen to get, those either the higher tier ones or the, hey, I got a few of these, now I have a lifetime pass. But let's say they're really introverted and shy, and they's like, hey, I don't want to do this, but my cousin wants to do this. How easily are these transferable? And how do you make sure that, do you check them at the door, be like, hey, you have these NFTs? How does that process go?
So what we'll do is we will have a stream, or we'll have a process where we can teach people about a multi-sig wallet if they're not familiar with that, so that people will be able to, if they want to retain the NFT, they can actually grant somebody else the authority to use the NFT. Your cousin, in this example, would have to KYC, right? And we will actually have a private body that will actually be in charge of doing the actual KYC. It will cost individuals, a nominal fee. Companies we're looking at are, sort of roughly $2, to actually do the KYC process, and that will be on the individual. But you have to remember that we are talking about, people that are A-list celebrities, right? And we have to keep everybody safe, on the sets as well, because we're not talking just about the red carpet. We're also talking about other utilities that we can get into after that have to ensure everybody's safety.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
So there's out of the 10,000, can you go over the list of the tiers again? Hey, this one is just like, thank you for supporting. This one is, you're going to get your name in this one, you get to go on, like, how many tiers are there? And are they blind box? So
right now, anybody that buys in the private sale, whether you're buying in the private sale, which is 5, and if you're buying into the party sale, which is 1 NFT, anybody that buys before we mint and within the first 24 hours of launch on the mint, everybody will get their name into the credits of the movie, right? And if you wanted to gift that to somebody, you can. We'll have a process to make sure that you can determine who it is you want to gift that to as well. Now, if you buy the private sale, right, we call that private sale. So we distinguish between private or party sale. Private sale is where you get 5 NFTs, right? You get 2 VIP all access passes to our red carpet parties, right? There's going to be different types of gala events as well. Let's say Darcy, because we consider this a membership, right? Darcy is known to just sort of, spontaneously, pull something out and say, hey, let's get together, let's do this. You'll have photo ops with Darcy Donavan on the red carpet. You'll have your name in the credits of our future film. You'll have first rights on our second collection, right? So it'll be a whitelist. And you'll also have exclusive access to our Alpha Dog space in the Discord. That's our private sale with 5 NFTs. Our party sale, where you buy 1, you'll have 1 regular event pass to a Dawgs red carpet event. Access to the main floor, incredible food, wine, refreshments. There will be all sorts of exclusive raffle for these guests as well. Entertainment, dancing, music. It'll be quite the event. And we've heard some stories, from the last one of Jeffrey Dean Morgan coming up to one of my colleagues, SHIRO, saying, what movies have you been in, right? And she was just sort of shocked. She said, oh, I'm not an actress, right? But that's how conversations begin. That's how people get noticed, right? You've got, Getty's, you've got Wire Image, you've got paparazzi, all there taking pictures as well, right? If you can think of, actors and actresses who just got their starts. It was Pamela Anderson just sitting in I think it was a football stadium, right? And she was up on the Jumbotron. You know how they just sort of pan across people? And it was somebody there just saw her and said, you know what? She needs to be, on film. And that's how her career started, right? These are the kind of events just to get noticed, let alone actually going there with, your intent of wanting to just participate or actually wanting to meet somebody to talk about something. It's incredible what can happen. It's kind of networking.
I had a get Pyro on, ask her about that, because I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So I'd be like, girl, you gotta tell us everything. Yeah, that's awesome. We have something similar to like that in VeVe, like with the gold logo, but I don't think we've ever had an A-lister at any of the parties. We've had some cool people, but I go over this with my audience all the time, that there are sometimes you'll go, especially in New York City, you'll go to a club and they'll be like Lil Kim or Cardi B. There'll be somebody that's like at this table, and the table next to her will be like $40,000, and you're not guaranteed a conversation with her. You're just have a table next to her, and people pay it. And I don't know what that's going to be like for something like this, where you have multiple A-list actors that could be there, and not that you're guaranteed a conversation with them, but the fact that you're around them, and you'd probably be like, I don't know, next to them in line. It's like, hey, how's it going? That could probably be, I don't know, how many of those can you get, or how do you get those access pass not in the private sale? Like in if somebody's watching this, let's say in like a month from now, 2 months from now, how do they get that just from the public mint? What do they have to do?
So there will be a limited number. I'm not sure the exact number yet, because that hasn't been released as to how many of the NFTs will actually have this, but there are going to be a number of them. If you get a Dawgs that has a champagne flute glass, right, then you will receive access to all Dawgs red carpet VIP events. So that's what you'll be looking for in the mint, is the champagne flute glass.
And that is, so that right now you said we're not sure, like there's like a 1% chance or 10% chance, or like, or how much you're gonna get.
We haven't released that as far as the numbers, right? Okay. So there are 10,277 Dawgs, right? And keep in mind that you can also level up, right? So you can now we haven't said that the champagne glasses are just for the certain dog breed, or just with a certain character, as far as a director or a crew or what, right? So you may see that absolutely anybody, right, has one of these flute glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there a limit to the pre-sale where right now? I mean, you can't have like 100 people like go and do. I mean, I guess you could, because that it's 500 of you. You could have. I guess you could have, but you can't have 1,000 people all go in and do this, right? Because if there's 10,000 of them and you have to buy 5 each, okay, you have 1,000 people buy 5, so you sell half of them. But you can't have 1,000 people go to these red carpet events. That would be a little insane. Is there a limit? Be like, hey, we're going to limit this to like 50 people can buy.
Depending on the event, there may be a limit as far as like a first come first serve as far as who registers. Because keep in mind that with each of these events, we will also have to sort of first make room for the celebrities, the directors, because they are also they're sort of the people that we're throwing the event around, right? Because if we're throwing a red carpet event around a movie release, right? That's who everybody is there to see. That's who everybody there we're actually there to help promote the movie, for example. And so if we threw a party and just had Dawgs people there, and yet we were promoting our movie, it wouldn't work, right? Yeah. However, so there will be a little bit of a limit at that point, right?
It's gonna be like Hunger Games out there. It'd be like, no, I need to register first.
Yeah. However, there will also be other, events that are thrown just for the membership, of Dawgs as well, right? Now keep in mind also, we'll be throwing these around the world. There will be different places, right? Because we film in all sorts of different places. We have, different reasons to have events around the world also. So, sometimes we want to actually do our release in a different country. There's lots of different reasons. So, it might be that you can't go to this one, but you can go to this one, right? Everybody's life is different as far as timing and whatnot. I don't think there's going to be a time where absolutely everybody is able to go, right? Life isn't like that either. So, I don't think there's going to be a lot of disappointed people, right? So I think it's going to work out quite well.
Same. I'm very curious about I wonder if there's going to be other countries like, yeah, I'm over here in Australia, and all of the parties are in the West or they're in Europe, and then she's like, okay, we'll go down to Australia, we'll have a party there. And then suddenly everyone's just like, I didn't know there were this type of bugs in Australia. And it was like, okay, no more Australia events. We have that with VeVe as well. As in case you missed the first few minutes, AWS is kind of down. They've been down for a few hours, and they not good times out there right now. So the NFTs, for, let's say you go in, you gamble, and you get a couple of them, not really anything that they let's say they didn't get anything really that they wanted. They're like, oh, I'll just resell this. What are the sell fees on them? Do they have like a 10% creator sell fee? Can you sell them on OpenSea? Where can you sell them in the secondary market?
I actually haven't looked to see what those fees are going to be as far as the creator fees yet. We are going to have the a partnership with Mad Dogs Create, and the NFTs are going to be interoperable across blockchain for those that hold the Stardog NFTs on a UPAP wallet. And so that should be being released just around the same time as the mint. So that's going to be a neat feature. So I think that there's going to be a fair number of places that you'll be able to buy them on the secondary market. An interesting thing is that if people don't get, the specific type of utility that they want, right? I mean, some people are going to want to spend time with a director, sort of gaining as much, knowledge as they can. Some people are going to be itching to get that screenplay, opportunity to be able to submit their script, right? So, everybody has a different niche that they're going to be interested in, right? Not everybody wants to be in front of the camera, and some people are going to be dying to have that speaking role. Right, so we have a process built in where you can upgrade your NFT. So you can burn 5 security to get 1 crew member, right? Maybe somebody is all about the lighting or the sound, and maybe that's not your bent, right? So you can burn 4 crew to get 1 producer, right? You can burn 3 producers to get 1 director. You can burn 2 directors to get 1 actor. If you have an actor, director, producer, crew, and a security, you can burn 5 of those, all 5, to get a superstar.
So all right. So going back from the beginning there, how many do you have to burn to get a crew?
Burn 5 security to get 1 crew.
Okay, and the security is like the base, like hey, you get this, like if you mint one, okay.
Yeah, well, in this in this scheme.
Okay, so that's a lot of it's a lot of ETH to get 1 crew, and then you burn 3 crew to get
4 crew to get 1 producer.
Okay, so this is gonna be. I feel like it might be easier just to buy find someone that has the higher tier one and just buy it from them, because there's a lot of burning. Although that's good for the. I mean, you start off with what, 10,257? You said
277, yes.
77. I guess that's good. This way, it'll eventually go below 10K, and then I mean, depending on how many people want to, because if everyone wants that like top spot, then they're going to burn in order to get it.
Now we have. Sorry.
Yeah, go.
We have made some extra NFTs so that if you burn something, right, in order to get one, you have to have one available, right? So let's say you burn, right, 2 directors to get 1 actor, there has to be an actor available. So we have made some extras so that we can grant you that actor if you have burned these, right? So there are some extras available. But yes, I mean, for some people, if there is, a director available on the secondary market, you may want to just go in and purchase one, right? It depends on what your investments are, what's going to be cheaper, what's available, right? I'm not sure what's going to be available on the secondary market. I think right now that's the whole gamble, right? Yeah.
That'll be fun. That'll be a good, nice gamification there.
Yeah.
So obviously this is on ETH. What wallets can they be like stored in? Can you go in and say like, yeah, well, as long as it's an NFT wallet on Tangem base wallet, it could be wherever.
Yeah, it should be anything that will hold an ETH NFT should be good.
Okay, cool. So this right now, because ETH is like 4K, you know, half an ETH is okay, it's 2K, like makes sense. There are, if you talk to Tom Lee, ETH's going like 20K, right? And that sounds a little ridiculous, but I don't know, like 10, 12K ETH is not outside the realm of possibility. You have a bunch of these, a buddy of mine that works with like dozens, if not like hundreds of banks and institutions. They're still going to be buying Bitcoin. Obviously, they'll trade that forever, but a lot of them are going to be rebalancing the ETH. And when most people are saying like, yeah, it could go 8K, 10K, and ETH now, because a lot of these institutions are going to rebalance there, goes to like 12K or 15K. Would the price of the mint, would that ever change? Is that malleable depending on where ETH goes to, or is that like it's listed as half an ETH and that's just what it's going to be?
It's, the mint price is going to be 0.5 ETH. That's where it's going to stay, regardless. And there, you know, there's yeah, I mean, and who knows, you know, how quickly we're going to mint. I mean, people are buying in the private sale. We could mint out before, you know, the mint.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's all sorts of possibilities. You know, I think it's important also to mention is that, you know, we are viewing this as a membership. You know, when you get your NFT, and it's more than that. It is a Hollywood membership, because, you know, our parent company is literally a Hollywood, you know, music, film, TV production company. So these NFTs, you know, they are they're not your standard NFT. They are, you know, when you take a look at the detail of them, right? When you zoom in and you take a look at the actual NFT itself, it's down to very particular detail that what you would expect from a, you know, a Hollywood production company. And if you were to actually lift off that that character, the you know, the featured dog, and look into the background, right? You've got that same kind of detail in the back. That's why it's taken sort of 4 to 8 minutes to mint each single one, or to, you know, to render each one. And you know, there is more involved than, you know, speaking roles, than getting the opportunity to follow, you know, a producer around and learn everything you can. There's also, you know, there's also sort of, you know, luxury goods, you know, that you might find. We're talking about, you know, all sorts of different kind of perks. You know, you can imagine, you know, when we're talking about a $30 million rom-com, right? That this, you know, that we're in pre-production for right now, right? You know, brands, you know, like to have themselves placed in the movies, right? Brands, you know, may well say, hey, you know what, let's get everybody, you know, wearing our product, right? These are things that might be membership perks, you know. So, you know, there's all sorts of other ways that the community is going to be, you know, given perks as far as, you know, membership qualities. You know, sometimes it might be gold, sometimes it might be, you know, it might be apparel, it might be, you know, all sorts of things could be coming down the pipes also, you know. So, you know, it's not your typical NFT project. We'll never call ourselves a project, but we are an NFT company. These NFTs are fully rigged to already go into the metaverse automatically, right? So as soon as you get one, it can, you know, you can pop it right into Income Island, for example, right? And in Income Island, you know, you've got, you know, again, that's a metaverse that is photorealistic. People have told us that they're seeing that as the same quality as was it what is it? I had it a second ago. I lost the word. What's about to come out in level 6 or in 6 that hasn't come out yet?
Oh, GTA?
Yeah, GTA 6. It hasn't been released yet, but we're getting feedback that that is the quality of Income Island, right? Which is nice to hear from other people, right? Because it's not us saying it, right? And you've got, again, celebrity-driven sort of perks inside it, right? There's a movie theater inside it. We've got a performance venue. There's all sorts of things that you will get inside of Income Island that you won't see anywhere else.
So speaking of GTA 6, so which has been being worked on for like a decade, right? And
Yeah.
there was delays with that, and supposedly it's gonna drop May of next year. But Polymarket, which now is doing stuff with crypto, which is great, they have a list of things of what will likely happen before GTA 6. So you have a 58% chance of ChatGPT 6 being released, a new Playboy Cardi album, Russia-Ukraine ceasefire, which would be great, a new Rihanna album. And then you get a little bit lower, and this is 18% now. There's $953,000 being bet on that Jesus Christ Returns before GTA, and it's 18%. That is wild. So is there, have they had, in tech, I mean, I pre-ordered a Cybertruck in like 2019 and finally get the reservation like 2024 available, like, right? So tech, there's always delays. What is there like a firm that, yeah, 100% going to be end of November? Is like, well, we might, in order to add stuff in or to do whatever and finalize stuff, it might go to like first week of December or something like that, or is the date locked in for end of November?
We're not giving the exact date, but we're sure we are going to be releasing in November.
Cool, because that on November 26th is the first drop of the last season of Stranger Things. So I would recommend doing it the day before or the day after Thanksgiving. But yeah, that day I feel like everyone's going to be booked. I am. It's going to be
weird.
Noted. What are your depending on every job, I feel like has a little perk, has some perks. What would have been, and not necessarily the perks, but what's it like working with Darcy? What's it like, you know, in general, like this awesome, amazing person? Like, what's it like just being around her and getting to know like her outside of just a camera, how everyone else knows her?
I can't think of working for somebody who's more gracious, more warm and welcoming and interested in her people, somebody who actually wants everybody to succeed, somebody who's more complimentary, just and actually takes the time to connect or pass on what she's thinking about your work, who's really just, I think, everything that she wears right up front. She's as genuine as they come, and truly everything that she's doing is all about helping everybody else sort of have a nice path forward. And so she's one of the most genuine people that I've met. So it's been an absolute pleasure to join the team. What Dylan was always putting out there, in startups for the past, 3-4 years, right? He is an absolute, role model, for who she is, kind of thing. As far as if anybody's ever wondered, right? He was always, talking about her, but about the project and the goals and the values, kind of thing, right? They're an absolute great, pair, and everything he's been saying all along is absolute, just nails it, right? So the values that they bring, they're as genuine as you would think.
Yeah. I've gotten to speak to Dylan a few times. He's awesome, and I love Darcy. She was my number on podcast number 100. That was her. I was like, yeah, this is dope. That was really cool. And then I think she was on podcast number like 197 or something again. But she's great. Always love to have her. Glad to see that her people around her speak highly of her, because she's great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
definitely.
in this job over here, what do you think is the most stressful? What is something that's just like, oh, this was hard to do, but you're proud that you did it?
Having to dress, more professionally than flip-flops and cargo shorts in Southeast Asia at the conferences and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I joke, but I had planned, because I already planned to go to the conferences and whatnot there, and sure, I mean, crypto is so casual, right? I was really truly just planning to go in flip-flops and shorts and t-shirts, but then suddenly I go and I'm representing, and I have to be a little bit more presentable, but I look like a drowned rat, right? Because I am. It is so humid and hot. It's like I have not experienced that kind of humidity before. I mean, I was in Singapore in the 90s, but I was probably in flip-flops and shorts. And how do you actually present yourself when you're literally, honestly, that's been the biggest challenge, because the team is so incredibly welcoming that, there's an onboarding process, there's, into the company and whatnot, and it's nothing but a positive experience, right? Honestly, that's been the most challenging thing, because I mean, I love the challenge of, of the job and learning and all those kind of things, but that honestly, that's been the hardest.
So there's usually a price that people have, like to walk away, like, hey, I'm gonna go, I made enough money, do me now. And in the bull run, again, 6-9 months, however long it takes, stuff's gonna go crazy, things will go bananas, probably have multiple millions of dollars. But for this job, like getting to work, one, with Darcy, and two, around this type of project, most people that would, let's say, want to be an actor, but they're like, well, I can't really afford it, well, I don't really have the time. Once they're rich, it's like, hey, if they want to do this now, they can do it. They could afford to go on all these auditions, they could afford to try to break into this, because they don't have to really worry about money anymore. But for you, if you're already working, if you're already in this, is there basically, what happens when you get in this bull run, when you have $8 million and just you don't need to work anymore, but this is kind of a dream come true for a lot of people? What does the future hold for Gin?
It's a little unclear now, because working for Real Vision Entertainment, I've had doors open that I had never perceived before, right? So, Darcy has said that if I find things within the company that interest me, right, that I want to pursue, she will happily, help me, explore them. And I had never entertained, joining the entertainment, industry in any way previously, right? So it opens up an incredible amount of doors, so yeah, I don't know. I had planned more just sort of, exit, left into a hammock, right? In the border. However, now, I mean, yeah, now I can't say what's going to happen. I love learning, I love connection, all of those kind of things, right? So yeah, it's really hard to say right now. But I appreciate this opportunity, and yeah, I just. I think that everything that I did up until this point has led me here, and yeah, I'm just going to stay open to it.
Apparently, AWS is affecting people's Alexas, and I guess they can't voice command turning on their lights. It's no, I have to get up and push it off now. First start, so I don't know if I probably didn't even message anyone. I have a comic coming out on VeVe in the next couple of months. It's going to be a large series of them, and they're really freaking good. I have a line in the first one, which I meant to ask one of y'all. I guess I haven't yet, so I'll ask you here. Where there's a little joke where pro the Doge, who's just, I think everyone knows who the Dogecoin millionaire, that guy. He's got a line in there that says am I so and so from Star Dawgs episode 1 because blah blah blah, blank. Is it okay if I put that in there just to say oh, that's okay, so that's the entertainment on this world? They have actors that have the you don't see any Star Dawgs. It's them in a positive light, or is that just we haven't actually done that ourselves yet?
I would run that by Dylan just to be sure.
Okay. Is it possible you could run that by Dylan and be like, hey, Randy's got this, he just wants to mention us in a comic, and I could send you the artwork for it.
Yeah, well, send it to me and I'll forward it to Dylan.
Surely. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Oh God, there's so many pages. Anywho, Alexa was down during the night, came back up, and then went down again. Oh no! People are gonna be
ensuing.
What'd you say? Hold up.
my connection's super bad today. I said if chaos is ensuing, you know, when we don't have our Alexas and our Amazons and our AWS.
Yeah.
Yeah, AWS has a big portion of what's going on now.
Yeah. I just checked I just checked the artist put Dawgs as DOGS and not DAWGS, so I gotta have them correct that anyway, and then I'll get that.
Okay.
In the meantime, I know you say you don't focus too much on the Income Island, but they do have that token there. Where can we go get the Income Island token?
IncomeIsland.org is where you go. And we are just working on a complete update of the website. So if there's any difficulty, it's just because we are literally rebuilding it. But that's where you'll go.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's at 110.5 right now, so we're waiting on that. We currently gone on to talk about what we're doing currently in the next couple of months, but is there a grander vision? I know you have, like, there's 30 movies that are planned, which are great, but is there a grander vision that, I don't want to say hasn't been announced yet, so I don't want you to reveal anything too early, but it's like, well, we actually have plans for an animated show, and we have plans for a comic, we have plans like, or is it just going to be focused on movies?
No, I mean, you know, there's a lot coming down the pipes and things that haven't been released yet. You know, Dylan has mentioned, you know, that we are going to do a Star Dogs movie, right? So that will, you know, likely be animated. However, can't say for sure, right? One of the things that we've said is that there is an opportunity from one of the NFTs. I mean, I'm not saying one, but there is an NFT out there that will have a perk where you can actually get your dog in a film, right? So whether that's, you know, any movie, right, that needs a dog, or whether or not, you know, that is actually going to go to our Star Dogs movie, right? I can't say at this point, right? But, you know, there's all sorts of things, and the team is so incredibly creative, right? You got to remember that this is an NFT company, right, whose parent company has been in business for 20 years, right? So, you know, it's an incredibly, you know, creative time, right? So, yeah, it's kind of like the world's incredibly open. You know, I used to always come to Dylan and I would say, because I love the metaverse personally, you know, and while I haven't been focusing on that right now, just because we're getting so close to Stardogs Mint, right? And so we're sort of ramping up our PR around that. At the same time, I absolutely love the metaverse, and you know, for me, it's like my Star Trek moment. You know, it's like my holodoc, and I love the VR personally, right? And we're going to be releasing that, you know, so I will always say, okay, how about this? Is this, you know, and he's always like, yep, right? Like, yep, right? And I'm like, okay, can we do this, right? Because I'm always, you know, brainstorming, thinking of ideas. And I love that, right? That they're up for anything. Yeah, it's incredible. There truly are no limits. There's no token gating, right? It's like anybody, you know, that you know, good quality character. That's all what we're looking for, right? We're not looking to work with any, you know, scam projects or any, you know, unethical characters, right? But those are kind of those are our limits, right? People can come into Income Island and say, okay, this is what I want to do. You know, I'd like to sort of secure my plot, and then, you know, in 3 months I'll be able to build. That's great, you know, right? We're not expecting anybody to be able to sort of, you know, pay for everything right out of the bat and go, right? We're all about sort of, you know, making things workable for people, you know. It's just the whole ecosystem is great, you know.
As long as you pay for, is there anything that you can't do on Income Island? Like, is there areas where, like, hey, here's like where everyone can go, but then here's, because this is your property, you can kind of do whatever you want on your property?
You know, I mean, you can come in and you can pick where it is you want to build, right? I mean, because people have their own, you know, slots. And so, yeah, no, you can come in and you can pick and you can build, right? So, you know, there is a crypto So what's the word? There's a crypto, what was I thinking? I'll come to you 1 second. There is a cryptocurrency building, crypto exchange building. That's what I'm looking for, right? And so that's a shared building, right? I mean, you can come in as an exchange, right, or as well. You can build your own building if you want it, right? But you could also build into the crypto exchange building. Or you could go into Interlink that has a gaming, floor in their building, right? You can do partnership builds like that, right? Or you can build completely your own thing. If you come in, there is a Ferris wheel when you first come into Income Island. And it's just beautiful, right? Now, when you take a look at it on the outside, right, there is outside of each pod, right, because they're actually covered pods, right? What they are is actually offices, right, that we're just about to initiate the actual video conferencing capacity inside them, and they're actual offices, right? So for $500 for 2 years, you can have one of those, right? And you can host video conferencing inside them. They've got your logo on them on the side, and also on your pod, and when it spins around, you actually have your name, your logo that comes down and lights up on the ground, right? Both during the day and at night. It's absolutely beautiful, right? So, I mean, that gets you into Income Island for $500, right? And I mean, you've been in our spaces, you know how we like to celebrate our partners and introduce people, right? I mean, that's publicity right there, right? So people are worried about sort of I can't afford these things. I mean, that's like your first foot in the door.
So is there, when I say like, can you do kind of whatever you want on your property? Can you gamble? Like, can you set up like a mini game? Like, yeah, we're gonna go hard on this. We're gonna make like a mini Vegas, and we're gonna obviously bring your own beer. But outside of that, can you go in and bet on things?
I can't speak 100% certainty, but I honestly can't imagine that you won't be able to, because I mean, the metaverse is Internet 3.0, really. I mean, the future of businesses, that's where it's going to be. So yeah, I can't see why you can't build a casino.
I want to. So on the Income Island, like, is there different places like, hey, this is waterfront property and this is not? I'm gonna guess different.
Oh yeah. Well, because remember, it's Income Island, right? We're literally an island, right?
Are there other islands that, like, hey, this is like an archipelago, like this is the main island, but there's little islands over here that you can go to?
So there's something called Beloso, which is we've literally got an undersea world, right? That we haven't even sort of had anybody build in there. But if you go to our property that you can buy, we've got all of these sea pods that you can buy, right? So because there's a whole city that's going to be built underground, and if you have one of those pods, right, you become part of that underground city. So that's part of it. But yeah, I haven't talked to Lee or Dylan to find out actually how you can become part of actually building in the undersea, but that's going to be a thing also. Plus, you can also pick where you want to build on the island. If you want to build, waterfront, if you want to build up on the hills, if you want to build, anywhere. I mean,
aside from the Stardog NFTs, are there going to be other NFTs that will be able to come into Income Island?
Oh yes, yeah. So we've got there already is. We've got I believe NFA, Crypto Homies. I believe there's one of those wandering around. We've got our gecko walking around. Who else? But yeah, no, there already is.
Because we're about to get Ninja Turtles on VeVe, and to have like the Ninja Turtles come in and then be a part of that underground spot, like they're in a sewer, would be so dope.
That would be.
That'd be so dope. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
That'd be cool. I could obviously, yeah. Did you ever go on Club Penguin back in the day?
No.
So that was like almost like a metaverse. Maybe All upped it, or maybe her kids did. They had to like I think like Disney bought it and like shelved it because people started getting the internet. It was the internet. It was like the lawless wasteland of like the late 2000s, and people started doing and saying and putting the penguins in different positions and putting the penguins in different shapes and words and letter, and it was wild. It was great, but it was
Yeah.
probably wouldn't fly. Definitely would not fly in today's thing. But yeah, it was cool.
Is VeVe still doing a lot of AR?
Yeah, so every one of their stuff, like every one of their collectibles are able to be viewed in AR. How many people take pictures of it? I don't go on the feed that much. We just had a big thing at New York Comic Con, so there's a lot of people doing that there. But in everyday life, I don't know how often people are taking a picture with like their Mickey Mouse or their like Homer Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
But they so and on the phone it looks fine. On the Apple headset that came out, I think last year, it looked really cool on there because it just has higher resolution and it's just like Hulk smash on a VR headset is so much better than on a phone.
Yeah.
So that worked out really well.
Yeah, because I wondered about getting VeVe into Income Island.
Yeah, like I said, well, I think the easier way there's a couple of ways we could do it. One way would be to just have the users take their NFTs and put them to Income Island. So that would probably be the easiest way. But NFT, I mean, if Dawgs is going to release on their own, they probably don't need to release on VeVe, because I mean, there's 10,000 of those though, but maybe if Darcy wanted to be like, hey, we have these, one's a director, one's a, how many of those, and you take like 5 of them and you make, 50 of these, 100 of these, 100 of those, and I don't even know if Darcy would do that for the money. I think she would just do that more for like, oh, hey, what are these things? And people will buy them. And then from that, maybe she'll be able to get some users, cross-pollination, just from the VeVe peeps. Although I feel like we've done that already. But we could definitely do that again in a drop. And the other way would just be a comic. So VeVe has this comic curator program, which I'm doing, and that's how we got like, so Sharby's going to be in it. Crappy Bird, Chaos on Chains, Solana Wolfpack, Space Penguins, Ladies on Solana, Heinecoin, Monkey. There's like 2 others that I'm forgetting, but they're all going to be on VeVe with either their own comics or but it'll all be in the greater daCat universe. So I would love to go. I would love to go in and write something for y'all. The only thing that I had, the only other one that I had that had like humans was Heinecoin. I've only had stuff with like action and battles. So to write something with, I guess, more like a BoJack Horseman, where it's all just about acting and Hollywood, I haven't done that yet. But I would totally do that for her if she wanted, and we'll again talk about that. What ideas did you have for VeVe on Income Island or Income Island on VeVe?
Well, I was thinking if we actually built out like the VeVe store, right? Like the VeVe, if we actually had like a building in there, right? And if we had a way that we could have when people if there's a way, because I have this vision of connecting people's AR, that if they're using their AR and if they can tap their AR and then it takes you to the metaverse, right? And I don't know that the tech is quite there yet, right? Same way that if we can, same way that let's say you look up VeVe Studios, right, on Google Maps, and if you can click on it, it then takes you to the metaverse, right?
Okay.
It takes you, right, like something like that, right?
I can see it.
Yeah, that's sort of this vision that I have for for blending, right? So because some companies are going to want to focus on AR, and I think I think there's a whole world to develop there still,
Yeah.
right? I don't think, I don't think, I don't see that phasing out, right? But I think that there's a way that we can blend the two beautifully. So
that's a good point. We could do that. We should talk. We should set up some type of or get the bosses to go in and have them talk themselves, or us. We'll let them decide how to do it. All held up said her connection is bad. It's AWS. I hear every other word. It's okay. We'll get you in on the next one. Anything that I have not gone over that you want to make sure the people hear?
I think, I think the message truly is that, pop into our, Stardog spaces. The Stardog Saturday we're going to be, is incredible, full updates. We're doing spaces for Stardogs on Tuesdays. I'm doing one at
Tomorrow at 8. Right?
Yes, tomorrow 8 Eastern. Mama Bear is on Wednesdays. No, sorry, Pyro is on Wednesdays. I've got the time on that one. I've got my clock here. Pyro is Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we've got Mama Bear at 12 Eastern. We've got and then we've got our Stardog Saturday every day at 6 p.m. Eastern as well, because we are really ramping up. So just spread around, bring people into the spaces, and hear about it. It is a project that has never been done before. I'm not sure that anybody is going to be able to rival this, just because this ecosystem starts with the production company that has actually already put people into the movie. So even though we haven't made it out yet, we had spots for actors. They were non-speaking roles, and Darcy, called people and said, "Hey, are you available? Can you get there?" And we put them in there. These are SAG-AFTRA roles, which means that they are within the actors union, so people get paid, right? Cooper Billy, he received his check, and he's like, "I don't know if I want to cash this, right?" And Dylan said, "Why don't you, do your internet banking with it, and then you can frame it, right?" So, and that was what we did, right? It was so exciting, and Darcy, she's all about helping people succeed, which is what I had said, about working with her. And so, she has described how when people get a speaking role, right? Or any role, she's there to sort of make sure that people are going to succeed in that role as well, because she knows that people don't come from a natural acting background, right? So she wants to make it work for everybody, so she'll spend time with people to make sure that they're ready to go. She's all about making sure that that this is an opportunity that truly is a golden one, and makes people sort of stars of the show, no matter what capacity they're in. So it's truly an incredible opportunity. So, if you know anybody that wants to get into acting or modeling, we had a father come into one of our spaces about a month or so ago, and he said, "I've put like 25,000-30,000 out for my son who is in modeling, and he wants to act." He says, "But," he said, "if I'd known that I could do something like this and get him onto the red carpet," he said, "like, this is an unheard of networking opportunity, right?"
Yeah.
He said, "I'm blown away with this opportunity," right? So we heard about the private sale and the lifetime access tickets to the red carpet. For him, it just made such sense, right?
And I feel like a lot of people are in these fish bowls where they get like sticker shock, like, okay, in order to get that, okay, half an ETH, I need 5 of them. Okay, that's $10,000. Like, that's so much. But then when you hear a guy like this that spent 30-40K to get his son, and whether he would or would not be successful or not without this, we don't know. But you could spend that with no guarantee of anything. And it reminds me of my friend Greg telling me when he was Biden's campaign manager, that at like the presidential dinners, it's like $30,000 a plate for like not good food. and you're not even guaranteed a if you get lucky, you get like a 30-second conversation with them, but most likely you'll get like a 2-minute conversation with the VP, which is still pretty cool, but you're not really network. You just get to kind of ask a question or give your peace of mind. So this is not just a one-time thing. You get it for life if you go on and yeah, that's and the price of like the price of which you have to pay of half an ETH, you said, is never going to change, but the price of ETH is probably just going to go up for a while. Obviously, anything can go to zero, little or no notice. But if I had to bet, I would say that the cost of getting in now of converting dollars to ETH is at like 10K, and the cost of getting in like 6 months will be at least double that, if not more. So I don't want to cause any FOMO here, but if you want to make sure you get in today's prices, that's not always going to be the prices. You have to pay a lot more later. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and and I think to just sort of emphasize that because I haven't been to one of these events yet, but the feedback that I've heard is that when you're in the room, right? I mean, one you're walking through the red carpet. It's you're getting your picture taken by the cream of the crop as far as the the photographers in the world, right? People that are doing taking pictures for it's the paparazzi to start when you're first walking in and walking up, and then you've got Getty images, you've got Wire images, the people who take the premier photographs in the world for all the A-listers. So they're taking your picture, and that's the kind of exposure that you're getting, right? And then when you go inside, right, there is no segregation. Everybody is, everybody's together, right? So it's not like it's A-listers here and startups over here. Everybody is together. So that's just you're in that natural habitat at that point, right? And that's where the magic happens. So. And then you get to see, what photos you're in afterwards, so yeah, it's an incredible, opportunity.
good vibes here. Good vibes for a Monday. Let's talk off camera for a bit. And thank you so much for coming on and being awesome as always.
Thank you.
Everyone's
been a pleasure.
And we'll have all dolled up in the next one, as her connection is unfortunately down.
It's not down.